Hi, and welcome to the special edition of The Right Stuff. I'm the Queen, Parker J. I've been telling you, dear listener, all about this anthology I'm a part of called A Time for Everything, a speculative fiction anthology inspired by Ecclesiastes 3. It's a product of Onward and Upward Media, which is heralded by Ben Avery. And today I have another author with me of that anthology, and she's been on the show a few times. Her name is Reggi B. Reggi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I am so excited to have you with me. You know, we always have a good time when we chat, but this anthology, I got to tell you, so many of us who are writing in the anthology were like, why hadn't we thought about this idea before? And I know that had to be one of your ideas too.
It was definitely different.
I think when we all got together, we were so excited about the anthology, and now that it's out and published and people are just starting to pick up their copies, we're just going through different stories and giving our listeners a hint of what they can expect in this anthology. So before I do that, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I am a writer, obviously. I've written a science fiction series. It's got 7 of the 14 books are published and out. We've got 7 more coming. I also wrote a fantasy novel, which turned out to be really, really long, which is not unusual for me. It's going to be split up into a trilogy. I've got several short stories out. I'm also, in my other life, a NICU nurse, which I do that 3 days a week and then write the other days of the week.
So you keep yourself busy. And I know that, like I said, we've talked many times over the years. And with this particular anthology, when you were given a chance to be a part of it, what made you say, you know what, I'm definitely going to do this?
Well, I had just finished my sci-fi series and wasn't really ready to get into another heavy project, which the dragon novel, fantasy novel, was what I was headed for. But I needed something else and just kind of needed to break up my mind and rest a little bit. But the idea appealed to me to do a short story. Short stories are a challenge for me because I do like to write really long ones. And I figured this would give my mind enough of a separation from the old novel before I started the new novel. And plus applying the scripture specifically, into a story like that, just integrating it so heavily, that was different. And I like trying new and different writing projects. Just don't ask me to do songwriting. I can't do that.
Me either. I think people who are lyricists are golden, because how do you create a lyric with song and keep the music together? Oh, I don't know how to do all that. So I think everyone had the same idea about the project. It's like, this is so interesting. We get to have this famous verse and put our spin on it. And each story had to have a time travel element. And you took a different take of a time travel element in your story. And I would love for you, without giving away too many spoilers, to share with the listeners what that time travel element looked like.
I'm not a real big fan of time travel because there's so many options out there of, do you go back? What if you change something? What if it fixed this? Could you really go back? Did you even exist? Really vicious circles in my mind, and I can't always wrap my brain around them. So I basically have gone with the thought that time is sealed shut, but I allowed my character to peek into the past and the future.
I like that you said sealed shut, because it does indicate that it has a definite journey, and it does indicate it has a definite ending and beginning. And those type of questions actually fall into the realm of omnipotence, because then you have to look at, well, who's creating the time thread, the time travel, the time strand? Those are interesting questions that we could really delve into at some later date. However, in your story, this becomes a key component of the story. Your story takes place on another world, and this world is unique in its governance. Tell us a little bit about how the world is governed.
There are 12 cities, and they had a united council that they jointly ruled, but there were conflicts that caused them to separate from each other. And they stopped. The United Council fell apart because they were afraid of war. And they just said, okay, if that's the way you're going to be, I'm just not going to talk to you.
It took on a basic xenophobic type of thing where you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane, and the lanes don't touch. Basically, that's what they did. But then this causes a problem for later. And so I'm not going to tell you what that problem is, dear listener, because what we want you to do is pick up your copy of A Time for Everything, a speculative fiction anthology inspired by Ecclesiastes 3. It's available from Onward and Upward Media on Amazon.com. Did you have a direct sales on your website, Reggie B?
It's shop.reggibroach.com.
Or you can get it directly from Reggie. You can get it directly from her. But because some of the authors are doing direct sales on their website. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Now, Reggie, the other thing too about this particular verse in Ecclesiastes is that I believe in the historical context of this verse, when it means to gather stones together, what were they referring to?
In general terms, it's a time of building. I'm not familiar with a whole lot more than that. But
yeah, because I always thought maybe it's like getting the stones out of the way so you can plant. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting a field together. So you got to gather these stones together so you can do it. And then when I was thinking about the verse and just how you did it, you actually did it differently. But if you're going toward building is about bringing these stones together to build up some kind of foundation. You know what I mean? And when you don't have the foundation, things tend to scatter. So those are just some of the biblical truths that you're going to find in this lovely anthology story of A Time for Everything. Now, Reggie B., you told the people that you have a couple of series out. You just finished your Dragon series. What else are you getting ready to work on?
Ben Avery's working on another anthology, which I have submitted a proposal for that one. I've also submitted a short story to another anthology, which I haven't heard if I've made it into that one or not either. And then I wasn't going to do any more novels for a little while. I was going to kind of take a break and do more reading to catch up and, read the rest of that anthology. But Sunday morning in church, something hit me and I've started another novel. I'm not going to pursue it really fast, but I've also got a couple of back burner things that I've been working on. I just put out a devotional book, 40 Weapons of War, which is aimed at writers. And then I have another devotional that I'm working on. Then there is a book that I'm working where times that I've seen God's hand at work, which those are slower projects. They're not going to roll out as fast as some of my novels do.
Well, usually when you're trying to inspire, uplift, encourage, that does take a little bit of time because you're writing nonfiction, as it were. But yeah, so you got a lot of stuff on the back burner there. And so, Reggie, I can't wait to showcase them on the show at some future date. But Reggie, thank you so much for being with me today. Really enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
And to those of you listening, make sure you go ahead and pick up your copy of A Time for Everything, a speculative fiction anthology inspired by Ecclesiastes 3. Go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com. in Kindle ebook, paperback, and hard copy. Thanks so much, Gay. We'll see you later. Bye.